I call Eugenie Sage.
I think the title for the bill could certainly be the Opportunity Lost Bill when you have all the other parties in the House supporting an SOP that will make some constructive changes and the government rejects it. But I think another potential title is the Environmental Reporting Maintaining the Clean Green Myth Bill. Because, Mr Chair, with these comments, with the provisions in clause 18 for regulation-making powers, and the only reason these regulation-making powers exist in the bill is to enable ministers to set the topics for environmental reporting. When you have a government that is promoting agricultural intensification, more irrigation, that means that they will be interested in ensuring that our brand, the 100% pure brand, is maintained overseas, and that the reality that a lot of the expansion in agriculture, the expansion in irrigation, the reality of what that's doing to our waterways in terms of declining water quality, real stress on native species that depend on our braided rivers, loss of riparian wetlands, loss of tussock grasslands and shrublands in the Mackenzie as areas are converted to pasture. The government won't want that reality to be made known. So that is why, Mr Chair, the substantial flaw in this bill, in clause 18, with the loss of independence, I think would justify the title of the Environmental Reporting Maintaining the Clean Green Myth Bill. And another of the reasons for that title, Mr Chair, is in clause 2, the thresholds that the ministers have to consider before establishing topics are very high, and they will potentially constrain the topics that can be reported on. And just looking at clause 18.2, the ministers must be satisfied that any pressure topic or impact topic affects significant areas, resources or numbers of people. So it's got to be established that the topic actually has that impact on significant areas. It means that if there's an issue which might only affect a rare species, which is only found in a small part of New Zealand, that aspect of biodiversity can't be reported on. These thresholds also mean that issues that might potentially affect a large area can't be reported on. So, Mr Chair, that is a major flaw in the bill, because we need comprehensive and robust state of the environment reporting so that we understand the health of the whole of our environment, so that we can identify the causes of environmental problems, and so that we can look at whether the policies that are being put in place are actually working. And by this quite strong constraints around the topics, and by the fact that it is a political decision rather than an independent decision by senior public servants, will, I think, constrain the environmental reporting and mean that it is dominated by work to actually ensure that New Zealanders have an impression that we are a clean green country, when the reality is very different, particularly in terms of the declining water quality with agricultural intensification. And we've already seen that with the limited reporting that's done at the moment, things like the monitoring of recreational swimming sites and the fact that 2/3 of monitored sites are unfit for safe swimming. So, Mr Chair, there is a major opportunity lost in the bill, and my concern is that it will be a bill that just encourages complacency in terms of environmental reporting. It doesn't actually get to the nub of where the harm is occurring, and that's particularly in terms of water quality and our biodiversity crisis. We have species that are a large number of threatened species, over 2,000, and I am not confident with the ministers setting the topics that we will get a comprehensive suite of indicators, and that's partly because of the stop-start nature of the work by the Ministry for the Environment in developing environmental performance indicators, and we don't have good performance indicators for the state of biodiversity in our country. So the bill would have been a good opportunity to get cross-party support. The government has rejected that, and there are major flaws in the bill. Thank you.
I call